introduction, I'm Audra Wilson Russell. I am the owner of WATS CPA firm, and it's a virtual outsourced accounting firm. So I know when you hear virtual and outsourced, it's kind of like, okay, what exactly is it? So today I'm here to give you a little bit more insight on how I work virtually with clients and what the ideal tech stack is for working virtually with clients. A great referral source for me would be anyone who is looking to kind of outsource the duties of their accounting functions, or someone who's already outsourcing but not quite happy with the solution that they have. I'm here as an option. And I will take questions at the end of the presentation. All right, so before we get into the WATS tech stack, I would like to talk about the ideal setup for the client tech stack. So in every business, we have these core kind of operations, right? And everything that we do feeds back into the accounting, right? The accounting is kind of like the backbone of the business from a financial standpoint. So what feeds into the accounting system could be your payroll, your time tracking, the systems that you're using for your invoicing, how you're managing your expenses, and then also paying your bills. Like those are kind of like the five fingers to the hand of accounting, if you will. And so what I found throughout the years with working with clients, that there are several apps, several programs that will get the job done, but these have proven to be kind of like the more efficient ways to get things done, especially in a virtual environment. We all know QuickBooks, but what I'm referring to more specifically is their online version. The online version of QuickBooks has the ability to connect with hundreds of apps that can integrate directly and transfer information into QuickBooks without the need for having to, um, have double entry or, doing double the work. For payroll, what's highly recommended is Gusto Payroll. And I really love Gusto Payroll. It has the ability for clients' employees to onboard themselves, where all you need is their name and their email. You send them a link, and then they complete their W-9, their the I'm sorry, the W-4, sorry, and the I-9, and their direct deposit information. T-Sheets, which is now QuickBooks Time, is an employee time tracking app. So instead of keeping paper timesheets or having to clock in at a kiosk, and they do offer the kiosk option, you can put an app on your phone or your employee's phone, and just lots of capabilities with the time sheets tracking app there. Now with invoicing, it will depend on the industry that you're in, because a lot of industries will have their own kind of practice management software where their invoicing is kind of managed. So depending on the industry, there could be several different invoicing options, different practice management software. With the expense managing, so those receipts, paying bills, that kind of stuff, Receipt Bank is kind of the top dog there, where a simple thing like an app on your phone, if you're out having a business lunch, you can snap a photo of the picture, and all that stuff, like I said, feeds back into QuickBooks Online. So it's great for auditing purposes. If you were audited down the line, you have those receipts available. And it's also great for working with employees who may have a business card and you need to put those reimbursement policies into place. Receipt Bank is a great resource for that. Now, paying your actual bills. Bill.com is a very popular one, and it's an expensive one. So I started using a different service, but they're great because you can put controls in place and layers of improvement. So let's say you have an AP clerk, that's just getting the bills ready, entering the bills. You can have someone above that person who actually approves the bill. There's all different types of workflow in there. And so, what that allows you to do is sync all your bills with QuickBooks Online or vice versa, and approve the bill pays right from your phone. And so, the company bill.com sends the payments directly to your vendors. So that kind of cuts out you having to physically write checks and things like that. And then, of course, like I said, there are also alternatives to every app that's out there, and these are different alternatives for those. Collaboration between my firm and my clients. These are the three main apps that I use. The first one is Teamwork, which is my project manager, where we bring all of our clients on this dashboard and we have all of our communication there. Every task that we have to do is all in this one central location. It gives us transparency into the work that needs to be done, when it needs to be done, and in some cases, how it needs to be done. ShareFile is our client portal where they'll have access to their files 24/7. In Zoom, we've been using Zoom probably about 3 years pre-pandemic. And so that's how we actually meet with our clients. On rare occasions, we'll have a client who wants to physically meet in the office. Now that's on the client and the collaboration side. Now looking a little bit under the hood here at WATS CPA and the apps that I use internally. For security, I really, really, really love LastPass. I have hundreds of passwords to remember for just my own business, and then a few hundred more for clients. So, working remotely with clients, they do provide us with bank account access, sometimes Square, different financial passwords. And so, to manage all of that, we use a password vault called LastPass. It's it's a system where you need to remember one password to access multiple passwords, and there's all kind of different layers of security on LastPass. You can do it as a Google Chrome extension, so that when you're visiting these sites you have the ability to save the password in your vault. And so I have it set up to where every time I open a web browser I have to log into my LastPass um, to access my passwords. Another layer of security is Google Authenticator, where even though you may have the username and the password to access a site, it will ask for an additional layer of security like two-factor authentication, where you would have to put in a verification code. And so I love Google Authenticator because it's an app that you can have on your phone and literally have tons of websites. So, for instance, I mentioned Teamwork, ShareFile, all of those you're required to enter the security pin to even get in. So, even if the passwords were compromised without that two-factor authentication, they're going to have a hard time getting in. For virus and malware, I use Malwarebytes. And for a private connection while on public Wi Fi, we use a VPN. I'm rarely, rarely, rarely on public Wi Fi, but in cases of employees traveling, and if they needed to connect for whatever reason while they're traveling, um, they'll use their VPN for that private connection. And then productivity tools. As I mentioned, we are virtualists as paperless as possible. And so to achieve that, I use Adobe Pro a lot. And I do a lot of markings in that software. When I need signatures, it's through DocuSign. I'm pretty sure now that the pandemic has hit, a lot of you are familiar with DocuSign. To set my appointments, I use vCita, which is very convenient. A few of you may have received a one-on-one request from me. In that one-on-one request, when you click on my link, it takes you to my calendar and you find a time that's convenient for you. vCita is the program that I'm using for that. Efficiencies. I love Zapier, or some people call it Zapier, tomato, where it's a bridge between a lot of different apps, where it's almost kind of like a if this then that. So like if one thing happens in one app, you can set a zap to trigger it to do something in another app. So for instance, if you book an appointment with me, then I have a zap that will push your information over into my MailChimp, as an example of what Zapier can do. When I need to collect information from my clients, I'll send a link to what's called Cognito Forms. It's an online form platform. So instead of sending them like a PDF attachment, hey, fill this out, save it, download, upload, send it back, I just send an online form so that they can complete it, submit the button, is done. When I want to review, let's say, a tax return with the client, and to kind of skip the whole when are you available kind of thing, I'll do a video recording of either their financials or their tax return and send them that video. If they have any questions, I'll include my link to schedule time with me. In most cases, the video will suffice, and then in other cases, they'll book that follow-up meeting with me. And then, as I mentioned, MailChimp is my form of client communication. So coming here to an end, good vibes. What do I love? Netflix, Spotify for music, and YouTube for music and TV in the office while I'm getting the work done. So I would like to say, although I've mentioned all of these different apps and the things that they can do, the most important thing is to make sure you have a process over the tools, right? So you want to document your processes first to see what tools may work for you. And you can, implement all these tools, but if your process isn't in place, then it's kind of a waste of time. And of course, there's an app for that. It's called Lucidchart. It's pretty much a flow chart diagram to help you kind of map out your processes. And to give you an example, I have like a kind of cut out version of part of my bookkeeping process. This is like the banking process of the steps that I take, for bookkeeping. So that's just an example of what Lucidcharts can do. Yep, went back. So, App Advisory is a service that we offer here at WATS CPA. So, if you had any questions about any apps that you're looking to connect to your accounting system, the systems that I support is QuickBooks Online and Xero. So, if you're looking for ways to kind of integrate maybe your practice management software with your QuickBooks Online or your Xero, then I would encourage you to go ahead and book a consultation with me, and let's see how I can get you connected.